So this is getting very, very, very interesting now. The whole weird term that Americans call it the ticket. They call it a ticket. You know, when you're going to go and vote for an election, they call it a ticket, you know. Donald Trump, the Republican ticket, or Biden, the Democrat ticket. Why do they call it a ticket? They're not going for a train ride. Like you're going to an election. It's going to be called a ballot. It's going to be called a ballot. Why do they call it a ticket? Just to go get on the Republican ticket. Well, I'm like, just a minute. You go vote. Why would you get the ticket? Well, the thing is that, the word ticket is to tick something. When you go fill a box and you tick a box, right? Well, this is the thing. When I read, they only want $30 for this. This is brilliant. Look at this, $30. It's in 1897. So, after reading the American Constitution, it sets out the framework for voting for the president, and it says that everyone will write the name down of the person they want to be the president, right? And then it goes on about rules for different states. But the thing with the states is this. The rules for each state has a rule because they've got rules for who's allowed to stand for election. You've got to have someone who's from the area, someone who's not from the area, and so forth. So each state will have a different rule who can and can't be there, depending on what state it is. I don't really think that it meant anything more complicated than that, because those are the laws for voting for all of America. If you didn't have one, if it has to apply everywhere because it's the same election. If it was one election for president of America, why would you have different rules in different states for how you do it? It would be. I mean, if it's an election for a person of all of America, then you have one. Well, procedure, right? Why would each state have a different procedure? Well, each state does have a different. Each state varies only because of who can and can't run in that state. So, a guy from Orlando, he might not be able to run in Orlando, but he might be able to run in a different state. So it depends who you are, not where you're from, right? So there's a variation between states on who can and can't run. That's what's different state to state. But why would you have a different law on entering other than who can and can't enter, depending on what state it is, right? If it's the same, if it's to be run fairly and equally, how can it be fairly and equally? You can't have. It's not the Olympics. It's not like, triathlon, is it? It's like not like a bit of running, a bit of swimming, and a bit of diving. A bit of swimming in, California, and then, a bit of running in Ohio, and then, a bit of rock climbing in, Colorado. No, it's not the Olympics. It's you go in, cast a vote, right? So why would you have different rules on entering when it's the same competition? It's almost like saying, can you imagine if it was like the National Lottery and then it's the National Lottery of all America, and it's like, how do you get your ticket then? Well, it's $3 in Colorado, but in Texas it's $8.50. That's not fair. You can't do that. We can't even charge anyone anyway for any, It don't make sense. I think that someone's boo-booed it. Someone's messed up. Now, if any of these further amendments have changed the rules, I don't think the rules are really changed. What I think is that they've forgotten what the rules are and they've misconstrued it and they're just doing it a certain way. But really, the law isn't changed. Because it's based on petitioning. What you're actually doing is you're petitioning for who's going to be the president. And it's based on you can write down what you want. Now, Robert F. Kennedy alluded to the fact that, sometimes they couldn't read the names and this and that. judging by these tickets, so this is like 1807. So this is is it 1897? Sorry, 1897. So that's about just over 100 years after the American Constitution. But what they're doing, what they're doing is, look, it's got signatures on the back of it. Signed the back of it, but they've not signed and dated it there. Just the date is when the election is. Election April 5th, 1897. It's the official ballot. So it's actually called, it's for a ballot. It's called a ticket, but this is a ticket for a ballot. Where did he get the ticket from? Someone printed it and gave him it. But he goes to vote with it. It's got the date of the election on, but hasn't got the date that he signed it. But this is for, I mean, obviously they're going to be riding around on horses at this point and towing carts around still, so walking. So, I mean, they won't be voting in a hurry. As long as it gets in on that date. So this has been signed. There's 4 signatures on there. Maybe all the people. So now this is the ticket. It doesn't look like they put the restrict ticket and mark within this circle. For a straight ticket, mark within this circle. So you can vote for Republican on the left. That's the Republican ticket on the left, right? And then on the right hand side, it's a citizen's ticket. And in America, you're voting for various positions at the same time, right? Constable IRA Fish. You got to be taking the joke out of me. AM Hunt for Road Supervisor District number 95, 94, 90, 90, 92, 88. Oh, this has got numbers written in. I don't know if this is how many people. I don't know if they've written in how many people voted for them or what. Is this how many votes they got, I wonder? As far as I can gather, this is like a set sort of like, well, I'll call it a team. It looks to me like this is the team that the Republicans are proposing. So I think a straight ticket would be if you vote all Republican, then I would have thought. Or if you voted all for citizens. I'm pretty sure you're free to vote anyone for any position, but if you were going to be a loyal Republican, you'd vote for all the Republicans, wouldn't you? And if you were going to be a loyal for the citizens, you'd vote all down there. But I think you can swap each side, like, because they've got a mark down the left here, look. So if you wanted Bartholomew for trustee, but then what if you wanted McCollum? And then what if you wanted Dutton for treasurer? And if you wanted Mayhew for assessor? But why not if you can vote for who you want? But obviously, I would have thought if you just tick the top, if you fill that in there, or if it's getting an official stamp or whatever, then you just for all that side. But these are who all the Republicans are putting forward. So the Republicans are kind of like, they're a political party, and these are their nominations, but this is who they're effectively, I think they're suggesting these people. What I think's happening is that in law and the Constitution, you can write down who you want, right? But people might not know who to write or who wants to do it or whatever. So I think what's happened is the political party, because we could have all independents, remember, if you want, are saying like, look, this is our suggestion, basically. Almost like when you go to the bookies and who are your favourites, right? This is their favourites, who they want. And then they're wanting the citizens. And what they do is that political party prints out a ticket and says, look, this is the team, come and vote for our team, right? And then someone goes along and goes, oh, I've got the Republican ticket. So they go pick it up, they go pick up the ticket and go, yeah, I'll vote Republican, and these are all the people, the suggestions, a Republican ticket. But in law, it's meant to be like free, open. You can write down anyone you want. But if you are someone who supports Republicans, then you're going to vote for Republican, aren't you? So in a way, they filled it out for you, right? These are their proposals. Well, like, this is where the Republican Party, if you support us, these are the guys that were, who put your money on these guys, basically, right? But in law, I think you can write who you want. Or you could, because you can vote independent, can't you? And if you vote if you have an independent guy, then he doesn't have a team, does he? If you have if Jeremy Corbyn was the Prime Minister, right, he's the independent. Now, who would Jeremy Corbyn have in the cabinet of the government if he was independent? He could pick and choose who he wants because he ain't got a political party, has he? Right? So, you're not stuck with whoever or what as, Chancellor or whatever. They've just got David Cameron as Foreign Secretary, haven't they? But in America, you vote for a lot more people than the president. Like all these different positions in England, we don't go voting that often. They vote for the police chiefs and all kind of things. But now I realise that I used to think, well, they must go voting a lot in America if they vote for all different positions. Well, it seems like you get like the bunch. Like you get the bunch of grapes, or you get, it looks like you get the bunch of grapes at the same time. It's like two peas in a pod, but there's more than two. It's like, you get the pod, right? You can have the pea pod, or, you can have, it's almost like a bunch of grapes or a pod of peas, isn't it? You can have a pod of peas or a bunch of grapes. Well, I wanted a fruit salad. Well, you can't have a fruit salad because you can have the Republican ticket or the citizens ticket. I think that what's happened is that the underlying law of what they created and based it on hasn't really changed and didn't really change. Unless you can show me one of the amendments where they've done it, but I don't think that they have. There's probably something in one of the later amendments that started fanning around with it, but like in England, that I've proved of incoherent legislating, non-compatible legislating, or contradictive legislating by people like Alistair Darling, who doesn't have the fucking slightest clue that he's doing because he's a retard, he's not fit for purpose. I think that it's a con. I think that, people were writing down different names of people or whatever, but if it would have been that much of a hassle or chore, they would never have done it in the first place. If it was going to be that much of a chore to have to accept people writing what the hell they wanted, they wouldn't have done it. I mean, this is, the end of the 1700s. They would never have done it. It would have been a nightmare. And I think that what's happened is that over time, they've rather than people have to, deliberating, I can't decide, spoiled for choice, like pick and mix, they thought, oh, don't worry, sir, we've got some, exceptional candidates to put forward, just the man for the job, why don't you just tick in the, just vote for the team, that's it, don't let the Republicans take care of it, sir, we're good for it or whatever. And they've just been voting Republican. And all of the being loyal to the Republicans. So yeah, whoever you want. Well, if you want, Ford for constable, then. So you got a couple of constables here: assessor, treasurer, constable, 2 constables, road supervisor, treasurer, trustee, 2 trustees. Long-term and short-term. That's what I think happened. So they call it a ticket. Now, hold on a second. It looks like someone signed the back of it. The official ballot for election, 5th of April, 1897. Someone signed the back of it. I don't know if that's it signed. I don't know if that's it signed, or I don't know if they're the people who run the election, like it's officially whatever. There might not have been that many people in this area. I don't know if this is when people have cast their votes and then they're writing down how many people voted for each. But you can't, there's no one else to vote for, is there? Looks like you vote for the whole team here, unless some people have gone one side, the other side. Unless some people ticked one side. I think this might be one left over. I think that see these squares down here. I think you tick that box. So I think you just tick all the way straight down, or to save the trouble, you just do the top for the whole thing. Unless that's the official stamp. But if this is one of the official ones that was counted and signed, why didn't it got the official stamp on it? I think this is like one of the tickets. And what I think is, I might be wrong about this, I think that people did mark them, but this is one of the spare tickets. And then on one of these spare tickets, all of the other tickets that came in, how many people tick these boxes? Because you got 88, 85, 89, 90, 88, 85. So why would... I think that some people... the odd person has not wanted a particular person for they've just failed to tick a couple of boxes. I think some people might have just done the top for a straight ticket, because that's straight down, isn't it? Straight ticket, straight down, all Republican. But some people might not have done straight ticket. Some people might have just had I'll vote for this, and this guy. But they might have thought, well, I don't like Hall, so I'm not going to tick that. So they might have ticked trustee, then given Hall a miss. They might have even voted for Dutton on the other side. And then you've got this 88 versus 95, 85 versus 95. Because you got this Republican and Citizens ticket, which is quite strange because I thought Republicans were meant to be people who stand for the citizens, but trustee, long-term and short-term treasurer, trustee, long-term and short-term treasurer. $1,800 election ballot, 1897, Ohio. Right, this is a different one, right? This is 1876, so this is a bit earlier. PC New Hampshire Republican governor election ticket, right? So this is for governor. This is a bit earlier. But this is the Republican ticket. That other one we looked at, it was like a double ticket. It had both options for 2 different parties on one ticket down the left and right side. So it's like it was like 2 tickets in one. This one is just the Republican ticket. So you go pick it up. If you want to vote Republican, you go pick the ticket up, and then it's got all who that party is nominating. Although remember, in law, you're free to have who you want. What happens if you want all independents? What happens if you don't want to vote for a party? Because you don't have to. You don't have to have a political party. Because Robert F. Kennedy has said that in California, it was too hard to get on the ballot by himself. He had to go and register a party. So the Republicans, they're suggesting to the citizens, right, that they're saying, right, we've got Pearson for governor, and really, if you're a loyal Republican, right, you should vote for William A. Pierce, right, for commissioner, because that's who we want, because we're the Republican, we're a party, right? This is our party, if you're going to vote for our party, this is who we want, right? So, you need to be loyal to us, and this is our ticket. So it's all, don't worry, let us deal with it. Like the law they are doing now, just vote for Tory and let Rishi Sunak sort it out. Vote for Labour and let Starmer sort out the legislation, right? The thing with these tickets is this, that you get this ticket, it's all about the election, but you don't know what things these people are going to do in government. What are they going to do? How are they going to run the town? What are they going to propose? What are the policies? Well, wouldn't you want to know that on the ticket when you go to all the time of printing a ticket out? What they're going to do? But there's nothing like that on there. It's just Republicans. Yeah, well, you meant to know what Republicans are all about. Don't worry about that. Just vote for these, people. So they're putting forward Emmet Farr for councillor and James W. Johnson for senator. And county officers, Red Treasurer Commissioner. So you're voting for your senator. Look, they've got your senator on here. James W. Johnson for senator. At the same time as you're voting for the governor and the commissioner and councillor. So this is like it's almost like Manchester United, isn't it, or something? They got a team. If you're Republican, but in the law, you better be able to have what you want. Like on that ticket, you could go like left, right. You could go like cross party. Note on the back of that one. And look here. Here's one. 1800s New England Town Mayor Aaron P. Hughes election ticket. Don't know what the hell this says on here. I can't read it. But it probably needs governor elector of the... Someone would have been able to see. This is why we need all the petitions translated and transcribed, because no one can read handwriting anymore, because we've all got used to typing. No one knows what each of us handwriting looks like. It's like secret writing. You don't even need to do it in lemon juice. You did it in lemon juice. Can't even read it. This is why we needed Brodie Waddle to translate all the petitions. Unfortunately, half of them are burned down with the House of Parliament, so we don't know what they said on them. For mayor, so this is the mayor election. Aaron P. Hughes. For alderman, Lewis Kimball. And for common councillor, John M. Hopkins. Well, it doesn't say what election it is, does it? It says New England, so it must say something about that on the back here, else I won't even know where it's for. It's a New England election ticket for mayoral election. And the alderman position and the councilman is up as well. But in law, you can have who you want. But this is... They must have printed these... These are to save people deliberation and just to help with clarity. So they're essentially they're suggesting. It's almost like on bookies when you go to horse racing, and they're like, it's basically like the favourites. You go to bookies. Oh, I don't know who to bet on. I ain't got a clue. I'm not sure who's going to win this race in the horses. What horses are going to win, and then so you go and what are the odds? 10-1, 6-1, or whatever. So you go, oh yeah, that's what's the favourite. So these are for the political parties who their favourite nominees are, who they want everyone to win. And if that's on the ticket, then they pretty much are the favourites because they're guaranteed to win if it's all printed out nice and neat for you. Because, who else are you going to scratch your head who to vote for? Someone might not want to be the president, even if you write them down, but you've got the right to do that in the Constitution. So I think this is like political parties just taking control. It's influencer marketing. It's taking... What it's doing is, wandering minds or aimless thinking. It's kind of like, no, this is what we're doing. It's almost like it's almost like walking into, into a saloon and saying, right, everyone outside now, we're going to start digging a hole. Oh, I'm just halfway through my beer. No, this is what we're doing. Come outside, get a shovel and start digging, you want to be part of the team, don't you, Well, actually, I'm all right sitting, drinking my beer here, and then... it's this is our this is our saloon. Then you're going to be drinking in our saloon because this is our new Labour saloon. If you're not going to stick together and vote with the team, this is it. Well, I'll vote for the barman. We'll keep him as the barman. But you guys, you're ordering me around. I'm not going to write your name down on the ticket. This is it. Effectively, it's trying to make you think like you don't have a choice when you do. Like it's like our ticket or no ticket. And then there's this green one here. 1865. This was during the Civil War. Union election ticket. This is Ohio as well. Now check this out. There's note on the back of this one. This is a Union ticket. That might be some wax seal or something. I don't know what it is. This is a Union ticket if you're going to vote Union. And they're suggesting governor, lieutenant, treasurer, supreme judge, full-time, to fill vacancy. So there was a vacancy. John Welch, Attorney General, School Commissioner, Clerk of the Supreme Court, Senator, Representative. They've got the whole thing covered. If you go with this ticket, you're effectively, if you support the Union Party, right? You can vote for who you want for all these positions, but if you go with what the Union Party suggests, you are effectively putting the whole courts, the judges, who's going to be the Attorney General and the Clerk of the Court. You don't want Sam Goosey as the Clerk of the Court. He switches tickets. He puts the wrong time and the wrong date on tickets when people go to court, so they miss the court. You don't want Sam Goosey as a clerk. He's the last person you want as a clerk. He is a criminal. He gives people, he writes down the wrong dates on court attendance so people are late. A trick in order to deceive people and beat them in court. That's a criminal, corrupt and illegal practice. If you had a ticket and, you're voting for Labour Party, right? They're proposing, they have Keir Starmer on here, you'd be voting for like, if you had Keir Starmer for governor, right? Then he'd be proposing, oh well, if you're going to vote for Labour, we're having Starmer, and then we're having Sam Goosey, you know, and then we're having, Barry Shearman. You know, this is their dream team. But you might not want Sam Guzzi as the clerk of the court because he's criminal. Why would you vote for someone who writes down people's names wrong? No wonder there's some vacancies on here. There's a vacancy. Why, has he been sacked? Has he been arrested? You know, it's a miracle if you can get some of these people arrested. Probably had to stand down if they've all got immunities. Who in the right mind, right, would, you know, you get to choose... You're getting to choose who the judges are in here. Surely you'd want, if you're getting to vote for the judges, surely you'd want independent judges. Why would you, if you was a Republican, right? If you was a Republican, well, I suppose if you support the Republican Party, you're going to want Republican judges because, you know, there's no worse than, you know, being a union, you know, being a union voter and ending up being a naughty boy in court with a Republican judge, because that's not going to do you any favours, is it? No. You know, this is it. It's like Donald Trump now. Donald Trump's getting done in court with Joe Biden. Joe Biden is taking Trump to court. You know, this is the thing. You know, Biden's not going to vote for Trump because then Trump's going to put all the judges that he wants in the courts, and then it's not going to be any good if Trump's naughty with Joe Biden's judges because they're not going to be too favourable with him. This is scandalous. This is like rigging the country and the justice system. Because they're voting for all the judges. If you voted for Labour, right? If you're a Labour Party voter, right? The last thing you want to do is end up in court with a load of Tories judging you, is there? You know what I mean? Although you're supposed to have a jury, aren't you, in court anyway? But they don't have juries in civil cases anymore. Ridiculous. It's a good job there is. It's a miracle there even still is a jury. I'm quite surprised. I've never been called on jury duty. I'm quite surprised that they don't already rig the juries from, you know, the electors. I'm quite surprised that the Labour Party haven't been rigging it so they can choose all the people who voted for Labour to turn up on jury duty. You know, you probably ask someone. So, you know, if you go to our town centre, I won't be surprised if all the hardcore Labour voters in our town haven't even been on jury duty about 5 or 6 times. You know, jury, yeah, I've been on there about 12 times. Really? I've never been called for it. Oh, well, you naughty boy, you've been sitting off speeding points. It's not a criminal offence, though, is it? Maybe I've been struck off the jury duty. Maybe that's what they did with the speed cameras. They thought they could strike people off the jury duty. And you look at it, well, you don't even get a jury if you've been driving. I won't be surprised if I'd been struck off the jury duty because, you know, as soon as I was 17, you got a couple of speeding points, but, you know, and then being in court, just got fines through. You know, there's this type of person who won't turn up in a court judging people. Well, actually, yes, I'm quite an honest person of integrity, you know. I won't be surprised if the hardcore Labour voters have probably been about 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 times, you know. Oh, it's, yes, all the people who've been on the speed awareness courses, you know, this is it. Not that you get, you know, if you even get a jury, you'd be lucky. This is rigged. Look at this. The whole court system is tied up in this. This is insane. Here's another one. The Republican ticket. Well, where do you get the Republican ticket from? Well, the Republicans printed it up. Well, you could make your own ticket. The ticket of me, my ticket. Why wouldn't you have your own ticket? Could have, like, you know, look at this. James A. Garfield, Chester A. Arthur. Oh, James A. Garfield for president. For vice president, Chester Arthur. Solid North. A free ballot. well, if it's a free ballot, well, they're not charging you for it, but that means it's open. It's not open, and you haven't got any freedom if they've already written out who's going to get elected. Do you know what that's like? It's like, the odds on the Grand National being completely and totally fixed. It's almost like Marty McFly going back and getting the almanac. This is like a page from the almanac, isn't it? There's no variation going to be possible on this thing. This is ridiculous. Don't stress or worry your little head about it. This is so rigged. This is almost like completely and absolutely totally rigging. It's almost like another Grand National and saying, right, what horses are we going to have in? Well, we'll have. I'll tell you what, we'll have all the Republican horses in it. Okay, then, what horses shall we have in the Grand National? Well, what horses do you want in it? Well, anyone can enter. Well, actually, no, we'll tell you what. We will go with the Republicans' horses. And, well, actually, just a minute, this is insane. For governor, they're voting for all these at the same time. So you're voting for president and vice president, presidential electors. Or are they going to vote for who's president? Are these electors going to vote for president? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought the people of America vote for who the president's going to be. I don't get this electors business. Maybe I'm wrong, but I get this. The rest of the governor, railroad commissioners, members of Congress, Briggs. So what? For county officers, sheriff, solicitor, treasurer, registry of deeds, John P. Nutter, commissioners, Fowler. There's not even any room to scribble it out or write your own in. Well, there's a couple of dotted lines there for sheriff. Roscoe, I want Roscoe P. Coltrane. It's effectively like saying you've got... This is almost like the concept of the political party, isn't it? If you vote for this political party... You see, what the concept of this is almost like, it'd be almost like the cabinet. It'd be almost like, can you imagine if you could, if we, the people, not like, I know the ministers vote for who the Prime Minister's going to be and all this and that. And then they get to select the cabinet. Once they get elected into government, they can select their cabinet. Can you imagine if it was a free vote for cabinet, like everyone in England voted for who the Chancellor's going to be, who the Prime Minister's going to be, who the Secretary of State's going to be, and so forth, if we wrote down who we wanted. But then, after a while, they wanted to get people devoted to a political party, and then they pre-printed it like this. So like basically Sunak just put his whole cabinet down like this. He's got I want Rees-Mogg, I want Jeremy Hunt, I want whoever, Priti Patel, Suella Braverman. It was written out for the cabinet like this, and then they said, right, this is vote for Tories, and this is going to be the cabinet, right? But what happens if really you could vote for each person who you wanted, right? So what happens if you thought, well, I think Jeremy Corbyn should be Secretary of State for the Home Office, right? Or what if I thought George Galloway should be the Foreign Secretary, but Rishi Sunak, as Prime Minister? You effectively they're giving you this. They're writing. They're choosing for you. They're choosing for you. This really is almost like a complete total. It's almost like a corporate. It's like a company, isn't it? That's a company. What you're looking at here is a business. It's like this is like someone owns a business. Like, Well, they call it a franchise, don't they? It's like a corporate business. You know, chief executive, secretary, warehouse manager. Oh, the boss decides. But just a minute, aren't we supposed to be voting? Aren't we the electors? But they made it into like a company. Like Rishi Sunak chooses, you know, who's in charge in his own private business. But it's not a private business. It's meant to be the country, isn't it? These tickets are really, really ridiculous. This is not an original one. National Union ticket. So this was the Union Party. Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson for Vice President. I don't really know what these electors are all about. I don't get that because we're the electors. The people are meant to be. We are the electors. We're in England. We're called the electors. So why have we got these electors, Morton, and Cunningham, and all this under here? There's some other process I think going on. Maybe that's the one that they changed in the amendments. We're the electors. Unless this is a small little village and these only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's only 30 people or whatever in the village, and they're the people who are voting, but I doubt it. I think that this, we're the electors, and we can write down what we want. And at some point, they've started, because people's writing's not that neat, and because they don't really know all the options, and maybe some other people might get voted, but they're not too keen on doing it. But so what? You can vote for someone. You got the right to. They ended up starting to just write it out for you and just go with the touts, go with the suggestions. When I don't think that was in law. I think the law was you could write what you want, but I think that I don't think that it was I don't think at that point they'd got rid of it. I think that it's like, it's, you know, what you're going to go for when you go into the saloon. You know, you'll have a beer or whiskey, you know, whatever. You can have what you want. You know, you can have a Love on the Rocks or whatever cocktail. You know, he's got stuff behind the bar. You just mix it up, don't you? But you know, after a while, you just get these set cocktails. You know, we it's like a vodka and coke, or it's like a cocktail bar, isn't it? You know, or I'll have a beer or whatever beer. Well, we only get these beers in now. I'll have a glass of water then. It's like, get me a tab. You can't have a tab unless you buy anything. Actually, I'll have flaming Lamborghini. Well, what the hell's that? Well, I don't know what it is. Well, you got some stuff behind you there on the shelf. Well, that bottle there, that's it. Yeah, that's the stuff. And then that one there, and then that one there. Gonna make me a flaming Lamborghini. You know, this is it. That's what I think's going on, and I can't see how they've got away with changing it, other than people forgetting what it really is. Look at this, is framed. The People's Ticket. What was the People's Ticket? When they I wonder if the People's Ticket was like a random mixture of people rather than all going for one party of Republicans. Maybe the People's Ticket was kind of like, I don't know if it was a political party or whether the People's Ticket was like some people who kind of knew what was happening in politics and knew some decent people who were a good mixed variety and a few independents. Maybe that's what the People's Ticket is. I'll Google it in a minute. We'll find out. So we've got Governor of Worcester for Lieutenant Governor. Is this for the Governor of Pittsfield, or is it John F. Plunkett of Pittsfield? This is for, so then you know who it is, where he's from. Because I suppose you could write someone's name down and you might not be able to identify who they were. if people have got the same name. Is that Nathaniel Shirtliff of Boston, or for Secretary of Commonwealth of Boston? Oliver Hazard Perry, direct district nominations for representative of Congress. So is that senator then, isn't it? Oliver Hazard Perry of Andover. Oh no, it's got for senator there, 2 senators. Or councillor for senator. What's it for representative of Congress? Oh, it's House of Representatives, isn't it? That's House of Representatives. There's House of Representatives, and then they've just got the Senator John Cummings. And then he's here for representative of the General Court. But there's some handwriting in there. She's written it in with his handwriting for representative of the General Court. So he's written what he wanted in there. Middlesex County nominations. They do it in America. They've got so many people in England. We don't get to choose who's the police chief, and so forth. Hold on a second. I think that I think it was a political. I think the People's ticket was for the People's Party. The Republican ticket, the People's ticket. The People's Party, also known as the Populist Party or simply the Popularists, was a left-wing agrarian populist political party in the United States in the late 19th century. The Populist Party emerged in the early 1890s as an important force in the southern and western states, but collapsed after it nominated Democrat William Jennings Bryan in 1896. Continue to operate for the People's Party. I wonder if that's what it was, what People's Ticket means, and if it was a party as opposed to Republicans then. There's something, I'm not going to read every single different amendment in America, but I've got a strange feeling that I don't think that there was a legislative change that forced that. I think that it was just kind of like social factors, tradition and habit, and the major parties wanting to get control, and effectively ended up sort of like saying, this is, you can have that, you can have that or nothing. Just like when you go up to a bar in a saloon and what's on offer. There's nothing stopping you having a cocktail, and what cocktail you can have is, whatever you want to call it, or whatever that you can have if you can mix it from different things, I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that they could do that because of the Constitution, or they say, we made amendments to it, but I don't think that for petitioning, the whole point of it and the freedom of it is the right to be able to ask for any. We are the subjects, but you write down, it's free subject matter by the subjects. So it's like completely free subject matter, but everyone is a subject. It's like a bottle's a subject, a law's a subject, but I'm a subject of the realm myself. In the same manner that I can talk about a cup, that's my subject. I can talk about a beer. I can talk about the tax on tampons, or I can talk about my friend called John. My friend called John, therefore, is the subject of my discussion. So he can be a subject because I'm talking about him, John, right? But he's also a subject of the realm. Therefore, I petition the government for the change in tampon tax. The subject of the day is tampon tax. We are electing a president. I want to nominate my friend James. James is the subject of this election. It is the right of the subjects. So we are the subjects, and the subject is free and open. You know, that's how I read it, and what they intend, and why you can write down what you want, because it's free subject. But obviously in an election, you're not going to elect like a baseball bat to be president, although one would start to think that the Americans might consider that, seeing though that they salute the flag enough. You know, there's only so many times you can salute a flag, Paul, and after a while you start thinking maybe these people want to cock the leg up over it and shag it, you know. Fucking hell, you know, is that a flagpole in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? You know, that's the president. Do you mind? That's the president of the United States. Interesting subject. Yes, we elected a flagpole. You know, I won't be surprised if they did that, you know. You couldn't do much worse than electing Donald Trump, could you? You know, stick a red baseball on the top of it, you know. You know, and you know, you stick the 8 of diamonds on it and raise it up. You know, you could change the American stars and stripes to the 8 of diamonds and lift that up and stick a red baseball on that flagpole. You know, that would be something. You know, especially if you tax it as well.